On July 8th, 2026, a European software company that doesn't build robots released a model that drives them. No warehouses full of teleoperators, no proprietary footage captured in the real world, no data moat, just procedurally generated rooms. And it walks a real office full of moving people. It was never shown. The result? 76.6% success on the hardest navigation benchmark in the field, using one ordinary camera. No depth sensors, no LiDAR, nothing else. Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled, where the future isn't just predicted, it's explained. I'm your host, and today we're breaking down the moment when the robot brain stopped being a data monopoly and started being math. Here's what makes this moment odd. The company that did it doesn't fit the playbook. Mistral is the European frontier lab that made its name by shipping open-weight language models as a counterweight to the American giants. Claude, GPT, Gemini. They're the ones who said, the best AI doesn't have to live behind a company's walls, and built a business around proving it. On July 8th, a small team inside Mistral, credited as AI Science Robotics, released Robostral Navigate, their first model built for a body instead of a chat window. Nobody at Mistral welded a chassis. They didn't build a robot. They shipped an 8B model that takes an ordinary RGB camera feed and a plain language instruction like, leave the lobby, walk through the corridor, enter the supply room, and stop to face the second shelf. And moves a machine through the world. The framing to hold here is sharp. The robotics race has spent 2 years being told the winners would be the ones who could manufacture hands and hoard demonstrations. Here's a software company entering the race by refusing to do either, and posting a state-of-the-art number anyway. This isn't a company pivoting into hardware. It's a company that recognized something. If you can train a brain in simulation, you don't need to own the factory. You just need to own the math. 5 weeks ago, this show covered the data war for the robot brain. The argument, then dominant, that dexterity would be won by whoever amassed the most real-world manipulation data. China was mobilizing millions of recorded hours. The US was answering with benchmarks and billions in funding. The premise was ironclad. Real-world data is the scarce, decisive, geographically contestable resource. Whoever hoards the most footage wins. Robostral Navigate was trained on none of it. Mistral built a data generation pipeline entirely in simulation and produced roughly 400,000 trajectories across 6,000 synthetic scenes. That's the entire training diet. No human demonstrations, no tele-OP recordings, no proprietary footage. Then they walked a real office full of moving people, obstacles and dynamics it had never seen. It adapted, it navigated, it completed routes. That doesn't end the data war, not yet. But it punches a hole in its central assumption. If simulated data plus strong priors can reach state-of-the-art on hard navigation, the "you must own the data" story has an exit ramp. The narrative that dominated the robotics discourse 5 weeks ago, that geography, capital, and data hoarding would decide the race, just became a lot less certain. And that uncertainty is where the real story lives. Most navigation systems are sensor junkies, depth cameras, LiDAR, stereo rigs, all fused together to build a 3D map of the room. That's the conventional wisdom. More sensors equals better understanding. More data streams equals more confidence. Robostral Navigate? One camera. That's it. No depth, no LiDAR. Just one ordinary RGB camera. And the results? 76.6% on R2RCE. Validation unseen. The test of following instructions in environments suddenly held out of training. On validation seen, it hits 79.4%. Here's what makes that number land. It beats the best single-camera method by 9.7 points. More pointedly, it beats the best system that does use depth or multiple cameras by 4.5 points. The claim isn't that sensors are useless. It's that a good enough model can extract from one cheap camera what the field assumed required an expensive rig. Every dollar of sensor you can delete is $1 off every robot that ships. That's not a small thing. That's the cost curve flipping. When you're building thousands of robots, a $30 camera instead of a $500 LiDAR stack, that math compounds fast. That's the difference between a prototype and a product line. How it actually steers is worth slowing down for, because it explains the generalization. why one model can run on wheeled robots, legged robots, and flying robots without retraining. Most navigation systems compute precise metric displacements. Move 1.42 meters northeast. Turn 18 degrees left. These are absolute coordinates. They depend on knowing exactly how far away things are and how the robot is sized. Robostral navigates by pointing instead. Given the instruction and what it's seeing right now, it predicts the pixel location in its own camera view of where to go next, plus the orientation it should end up facing. Because pointing lives in the image rather than in absolute distances, the same policy tolerates different camera lenses, different mounting heights, different body sizes, which is why one model runs on wheeled, legged, and flying robots without retraining. When the target sits outside the current field of view, it falls back to simple local moves. 2 meters forward, 1.5 left, turn 25 degrees. It's a humble-sounding trick with a large consequence, a body-agnostic brain. One model, multiple embodiments. That's the architecture that scales. Here's the tell that a language lab built this. Look at the training methods, and you'll see them lifted straight from large-scale language model work. Robostral isn't initialized from an off-the-shelf robotics stack. It's initialized from Mistral's own vision language model, the one trained for grounding, which means pointing at objects, counting them, locating them in images. Navigation emerges as an extension of already knowing where things are. The training uses a prefix caching trick, borrowed straight from LLM work. It compresses an entire navigation episode, a whole route through a building, into one sequence, cutting training tokens by about 22 times. That transforms runs that would take months into runs that complete in days. Then, exactly as with a modern chatbot, they run online reinforcement learning using an algorithm called CISPO to let the model learn from its own failures, recover from mistakes, try new paths, get better. That added another 3.2% to the success rate, and Mistral claims they're not seeing any plateau. More training, more experiments, the number keeps climbing. The through line for the audience, the same toolkit that made language models good is now making robot brains good, and that toolkit compounds fast. It's not magic, it's transfer learning at scale. Now the honest ledger, because the number invites overreach, and overreach is how you lose credibility. The 76.6% is a simulation benchmark, not a shipped real robot success rate. Mistral shows a compelling autonomous run through a real office in its own video. Genuinely impressive footage, but publishes no real robot success metrics, no on-device latency, and no independent evaluation. That's worth flagging. Monocular vision has known enemies. A clean, simulated building won't teach. Glass doors, mirrors, dim light, reflective floors. The gap between a benchmark and a cluttered real hallway is exactly where systems like this usually lose points. It's also, crucially, only navigation. Getting from A to B, it doesn't touch manipulation, grasping, placing, dexterity. That's the half the earlier Data War episode called decisive, and that's the half real-world data still plausibly dominates. Real hands doing real tasks on real objects. That's still largely terra incognita for sim-to-real transfer. And here's the openness tension. For the lab that built its brand on shipping open weights, Robostral is not an open release. Access is enterprise and commercial. Whether it ever ships open weight is unresolved. Good result, real caveats. And those caveats are the ones that decide whether this actually scales. If you're enjoying this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. We've got stories coming that'll change how you think about what's next. Zoom out, and the real headline isn't the benchmark, it's the slope. Mistral shipped this in the cheapest to deploy form factor imaginable. One commodity camera, a compact 8B model, a body-agnostic policy, and a training method that gets cheaper and better the more they run it. Prefix caching means your token bill drops. Online RL means your output improves. Both trends move the same direction, down on cost, up on capability. They call Robostral only the first step toward a unified embodied agent, and here's the timing that matters. The same week Mistral released this, WIC 2026 opened in Shanghai with 261 foundation models and 208 embodied intelligence systems on the floor. The brain commoditizing in the US, Europe, and China simultaneously. The same week, the same moment. This isn't one lab's announcement. It's a phase transition. Oh, and if you're watching on your phone, there's a hype button right below the video. Smashing that really helps smaller channels like ours get discovered. Hold the tension the way this show does. This is genuinely good. A general robot brain is getting radically cheaper to build and deploy, which pulls useful robots forward for everyone. And it's not enough yet. Because navigation is the easy half, the numbers are still simulated. And cheap to build says nothing about who captures the value or whether the open lab stays open. When the brain gets cheap, the fight moves to the hands, the real-world proof, and the license. Here's what happened on July 8th. The central assumption of the robot brain race that you win by hoarding data sprang a leak. Not because data stopped mattering, but because simulation plus strong priors plus a frontier training stack proved it doesn't have to be the decisive input. And when the decisive input shifts from data you own to math anyone with a lab can run, the entire geography of the competition resets. The robot brain got cheap. The question now isn't whether it'll get cheaper. It will. The question is what happens next? Who builds the hands? Who controls the real-world proof? And whether the lab that branded itself on openness stays open when the stakes get real. Watch those three. They'll tell you who wins.
Let the future be your guide with all the